Have you ever wondered, what would happen if a rogue planet collided with Earth? And would we even see it coming? Picture this. Somewhere out there in the vast emptiness of space, a world the size of Jupiter is hurtling through the darkness at hundreds of kilometers per second. It has no star to orbit, no home to call its own. It's what astronomers call a rogue planet, and it's been wandering the galaxy for millions of years. Now imagine that this cosmic nomad has set its sights on our little blue marble. The universe is filled with these planetary outcasts. Recent discoveries suggest there could be trillions of rogue planets drifting through our galaxy alone, outnumbering stars by a ratio of 20 to 1. They're the result of violent gravitational encounters in young solar systems, kicked out of their homes by larger planets, or stripped away when a passing star gets too close. Some form independently as failed stars, while others are planetary embryos that never found their place. These wandering worlds come in all sizes. Some are small, rocky objects barely larger than Pluto, while others are gas giants that dwarf Jupiter. The most massive rogue planets discovered so far are about 5 times the mass of Jupiter. What makes them particularly dangerous is their speed. Without a star's gravity to keep them in check, they can reach velocities that would make even the fastest spacecraft look like it's standing still. So what would happen if one of these cosmic bullets found its way into our solar system? The answer depends entirely on the size of our unwelcome visitor and whether it actually hits us or just passes by. But either way, the outcome wouldn't be pleasant. Let's start with a scenario where we get lucky and avoid a direct collision. Even if a rogue planet simply wandered into our solar system without hitting anything, its gravitational influence would wreak havoc on the delicate orbital dance that has kept our planet stable for billions of years. A Jupiter-sized intruder would turn our orderly solar system into a cosmic pinball machine. Earth's orbit would become wildly elliptical, swinging us much closer to the sun during parts of our year and flinging us far into the cold depths of space during others. Those brief, scorching summers would be followed by endless, brutal winters. Crops would fail, oceans might freeze, and humanity would face the very real possibility of extinction. If the rogue planet were massive enough, it could knock Earth completely out of the habitable zone. At that point, our planet would become a frozen wasteland where the only survivors might be organisms living near deep-sea thermal vents, the last warm spots on a dying world. But what if we weren't so lucky? What if this planetary wanderer scored a direct hit? Well, that's where things get truly catastrophic. A rogue planet moving at hundreds of kilometers per second would carry kinetic energy beyond human comprehension. The collision wouldn't just destroy Earth, it would obliterate it completely, turning both worlds into a cloud of superheated debris that would eventually cool and condense into asteroids. The impact would be so violent that it would fundamentally restructure our entire solar system. The explosion would send shockwaves rippling through space, potentially flinging the remaining planets into new orbits or ejecting them from the solar system entirely. Mars might find itself spiraling into the sun, while Jupiter could be hurled into the outer darkness to become a rogue planet itself. Now, before you start losing sleep over this cosmic threat, there's some good news. The odds of a rogue planet entering our solar system are astronomically small. Researchers estimate the chances at roughly 1 in a billion over the next 1,000 years, and the probability of a direct collision with Earth is even lower. The immense scale of space is our greatest protection. Even if a rogue planet did somehow find its way into our neighborhood, the solar system is so vast that the chances of it actually hitting anything are incredibly slim. It's like firing a bullet randomly into the ocean and expecting it to hit a specific fish. But here's where things get interesting. We probably wouldn't see it coming until it was far too late to do anything about it. Rogue planets are notoriously difficult to detect because they emit no light of their own. They're essentially invisible against the backdrop of space, dark objects drifting silently through the void. Most of the rogue planets we've discovered so far were found using gravitational microlensing, a technique that detects the subtle way these objects bend light from distant stars as they pass in front of them. By the time we spotted an incoming rogue planet with our current technology, we'd likely have only months or maybe years to prepare. And what exactly would we prepare for? There's no hiding from a planetary collision, no bunker deep enough, no mountain high enough, no ocean vast enough to shield us from that kind of destruction. The first signs would be subtle. Astronomers might notice that certain stars were being blocked from view, their light temporarily dimmed by a massive object passing between us and them. The rogue planet's gravitational influence would start tugging on the outer planets first, causing tiny but measurable changes in their orbits. Jupiter and Saturn would feel the pull long before Earth did. As the wandering world drew closer, the effects would become impossible to ignore. Our planet's orbit would begin to shift, causing dramatic changes in our seasons and weather patterns. The length of our years might change as we were either pulled closer to the sun or pushed farther away. Tidal forces would intensify, creating massive earthquakes and volcanic eruptions as the rogue planet's gravity stretched and squeezed our world. In the final days before impact, the rogue planet would become visible to the naked eye, growing from a dim speck to a terrifying disk that would eventually fill half the sky. The psychological impact on humanity would be devastating. How do you go about your daily life knowing that a world-ending collision is just days away? The atmosphere itself would begin to behave strangely as the two worlds approached each other. The rogue planet's gravity would start stripping away Earth's outer atmosphere, creating spectacular but deadly aurora displays as charged particles from both worlds collided. The night sky would be alive with colors never seen before, a beautiful prelude to absolute destruction. Scientists have actually studied what would happen during those final moments. As the rogue planet filled our sky, its gravity would create massive tidal forces that would literally tear Earth apart before the collision even occurred. Mountains would crumble, oceans would be flung into space, and the ground beneath our feet would buckle and heave like a stormy sea. The collision itself would last mere seconds, but those seconds would release more energy than our sun produces in millions of years. The temperature at the impact site would rival the core of a star, instantly vaporizing everything within thousands of kilometers. If Earth collided with a rogue planet, we wouldn't just be facing the end of civilization, we'd be witnessing the complete annihilation of our world and everything on it. The good news is that the universe is so incredibly vast that the chances of this happening are essentially zero. We're more likely to win the cosmic lottery 1,000 times over than to encounter one of these planetary wanderers. But perhaps the most unsettling part of this scenario isn't the destruction itself, but how helpless we'd be to stop it. All our technology, all our scientific achievements, all our plans for the future would mean absolutely nothing in the face of such overwhelming cosmic forces. It's a humbling reminder that despite all our progress, we're still just passengers on a small rock hurtling through an unimaginably large and sometimes dangerous universe. The next time you look up at the night sky, remember that somewhere out there in the darkness, countless rogue planets are silently drifting between the stars. They're the universe's lost children, and thankfully, they're content to wander far from our little corner of space. Let's hope it stays that way.